So happy noon bell, everybody. My name's Kathy, for those of you that might be joining that don't know me. And this is All Levels Express Yoga Flow. And so it's just an opportunity to get off the train from the morning and wherever it might be heading this afternoon. What have you been doing? And even though this is a shorter class, I just met one of my neighbors who's a member at the club. She's not doing any classes, but she said she's got a routine. It's 8 minutes every day. And, she's a little bit embarrassed about that. And I just thought, wow, that is fantastic. It's the consistency. So we've got a whole 35 minutes here right now, and we will make the most of it. So you don't need anything much. I like to have something, my knees get a little tender. So I've got a flat blanket that I'm placing down on my mat where it'll catch my knees. And I also have a singing bowl that I'm going to ding a couple of times. I will give it a little ding at the beginning just to get us in that mood of getting off the train of attachment to thinking and into the body. So our starting posture will be an extended child's pose. And if you don't feel like coming to your knees, then you can just choose any other posture, maybe sitting with the soles of the feet together in a long diamond shape and let the spine drape. But if you're okay to be on your knees, then the hands will be quite a ways forward. It's not going to be a child's pose where we're sitting right back on our heels. So it's going to be a little more of a heart opening. So you might need to move around a little bit to make that comfortable. The seat will probably come back a little bit of the hips or behind the hips, but you might need to move your knees back so you're not sitting right back in the child's pose. Your forehead may come to the floor. You can soften your arms for sure. There's no right or wrong with this. So just take a moment to land in this shape and you'll hear the sound of the gong. Switching gears, giving permission for whatever is here in your body-mind connection to land. Being aware that our practice is one that is with others. Just notice that breath is here, and wherever you feel that in your body right now, just let it be. Notice the weight of the body parts that are touching the ground, tops of the feet, the shins, the palms or the forearms. Just continuing to invite the awareness to just be on the breath in this shape. The shoulder blades are moving a little closer together. Let the back neck be long. If you feel like you're working here, just adjust to ease to a place where, there may be a little bit of discomfort, but no pain, no effort. And take a few little bit longer, deeper breaths. If you like to practice the ocean breath, you can take that now. It's breathing in and out through the nose. Feeling the breath moving underneath the scapula, into the belly, breathing in. And exhaling just to let something release here in the jaw and the face. And one more like that, breathing in. And breathing out. Now start to, if they're not, let the forearms come to the floor in a little bit closer and clasp your hands here and pull the belly in so you move yourself into a cat shape with your spine, lifting the underside of the body
Up and puffing up between the shoulder blades. And then squeeze the shoulder blades towards the ears as you move in the opposite direction. This is a cat and cow movement, exhaling to lift the belly, letting the head drop. You could shake it a few times there. Make some faces, roll out the jaw, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together so we get that antidote to our sitting at computer posture. One more time. Exhaling there. And then inhale, curl the toes under. Start to sit back towards the heels. Come to the fingertips and just get a nice stretch out through the bottoms of the feet as you still continue to lengthen through the sides of the body. So much tightness from sitting. You can take a few breaths there or come and sit all the way back on your heels. Getting a stretch to the balls and the arches of the feet. Let's circle out the shoulders up to the ears, around and down the back. And with some breath, breathing in and exhaling out. If it's too much on the feet, just come up a little higher. Inhale. Exhale. When in doubt, just come back to sensations of breathing. And do the opposite direction. Inhale. Up and forward. Exhale. Squeeze the shoulder blades. And then the shoulder blades retract away from each other. Inhale and then exhale again. Come off the feet. Let's bring the hands down and cross the right ankle over top of the left ankle. Start to send some weight back towards the heels to stretch out the Achilles tendon. If that's too much, then you can just come to a regular child's pose. We're going to walk the hands over towards the right and take the left palm a little further on that diagonal. Push forward into the right palm and pull back through the left palm and take 3 breaths underneath the left wing, the left hip, the left ribs. Good. One more deep breath in there, stretching the lungs. And come back through center. Uncross the feet. Bring the elbows down. And then press into the palms. Inhale, you can shift the shoulders a little forward and then exhale, squeeze the elbows down. Inhale, the arms straighten a little, the shoulders come forward. And then exhale, press the elbows down again. Maybe you clasp the hands together here again. Squeezing one more inhale as you take that cow shape, and then exhale, peel it into the cat. Press into the forearms, let the head go. Inhale, draw the breastbone forward, the scapula moving in, and then exhale, retracting the scapula away from each other. One more like that, breathing in and out. Let's curl the toes under again and start to stretch back towards the heels, coming to the fingertips. Finding that flexion in the spine and breathing there, or sitting all the way back on the heels. Again here. If you're up, then just take the shoulders, loop them up and back, and take a wider circle out, just exploring the space around. You can straighten the arms as much as you like and maintain some core, navel to spine, or be up higher, just experiment. Opening up those hip flexors. Let's bring the thumbs to catch behind the back. And then pull the hands apart as you drop the shoulders away from the ears for 3, 2, and 1. Shifting back to that tabletop shape. And now take the left ankle over the right ankle. Or you can just take the regular tops of the feet down for child's pose. If that feels okay, start to sit back towards the heels. And just letting the weight of your pelvis give your ankle, front of your foot a stretch, the Achilles tendon. Let's walk the hands over to the left now and add the side stretch. So push a little forward through the left palm and then reach a little more on the diagonal with the right hand and then draw that back. In this shape, just again, as often as you notice that there's thinking here, that's okay. Thinking never stops, just our ability to have some friendliness towards it all. Just let it pass on by with each breath. We're using the movement and the breath to detoxify. One more into that right side. Inhale, come back up. Let's take a regular tabletop shape. Now curl the toes under, bring the wrists a little more towards being underneath the shoulders. Toes are curled under, and we'll just hover the knees, and we'll take 3 breaths there, pressing into the inner palm. That's 2. Let's let the crown of the head reach away from the tailbone. And 3, keep the knees bent, send the hips up and back. Take the feet a little wider apart, give the head a shake. Let's bend the knees on the exhale. Heels can be very lifted. And then inhale, keep the seat lifted as you stretch out the legs a little more. Exhale, deep knee bend, just a little squat, and then inhale. Heels drop. Hamstrings lengthen to the back while not forcing. One more time, exhale. And inhale, look forward. Adjust so that you can come into a plank pose. And taking the plank pose there, and then press up and back again, high on the tiptoes, downward facing dog. Let's just get into the shoulders and the hips and build a little heat. Inhale, shift forward to plank pose. You could tap the knees down. Exhale, take it up and back. One more time, let's come forward to plank pose, and then take the right elbow down and take the left elbow down. And if it feels like the elbows are going to wing out, then just clasp the hands together, squeeze the elbows together, and take 3 breaths there. Hips are low, belly lifted. Good. Let's tap the knees down, thighs. Wiggle into a sphinx pose so the elbows are underneath the shoulders. They can even be further forward. Activate the tops of the legs. And just feel that really indulgent stretch through the front of the hips. So the whole front body is lengthening. The snake's coming out of the basket. Take another breath there. Exhale, lower down. Just, you may not take your head all the way to the floor, but slide the arms back, loop the shoulders. And bring the backs of the hands to the floor. And just keep the breastbone, almost like if you had a flashlight right at your sternum there, you'd just be shining a light, maybe an inch or so forward on the wall ahead of you. Backs of the hands on the floor. You can make a little fist, tuck your thumb in and wrap your fingers around that, just to get a stretch for the back of the wrists. Let's float the arms now and open the palms towards the ceiling and bring the thumbs towards each other. Really press the tops of the feet to the floor. Still drawing the belly in, but keeping the pelvis heavy. You can float the legs if you like. The inner thighs are rolling towards the ceiling. The toes are coming a little closer together for one more inhale. The whole back body, strong back body. Exhale, lower and slide the hands towards the low ribs. Press yourself up and back and take it into a cat, walking the knees in. You can come to fists or fingertips again, just to give your wrists a break. Shift through to tabletop now. Press the palms, curl the toes under, hover the knees again. Take 1 breath there. And then exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Let's take the feet a little bit wide and have the heels start to come in. So the toes are turning out a little bit. And then walk the hands back towards the feet. So bend the knees a lot. You might keep your hands on the floor and let your tailbone be heavy here. It's coming into a little half squat. Let the head go too. And then straighten the legs any amount. Come up. And then go back down into that little squat. Just let your spine be in flexion. Squeeze the bum cheeks, straighten the legs a little bit. And exhale, back into the curve. One more time, inhale. Straighten your legs any amount, getting into those IT bands. And then exhale, bring the feet parallel again and fold over the legs. Just catch opposite elbows. Shifting the weight through, forward and back, so you feel all four corners of the feet supporting the spinal column as it cascades over the legs. Take another breath in there. Exhale all the way to empty, and on empty, if you can, draw the pelvic floor in and slowly roll up. If you need to breathe, just go ahead. Come all the way up and reach the arms up here. And press into the feet. Let's do a few big circles with that right arm. And just keep the left arm reaching up and back. Actually, let's take the left hand to the right collarbone and do a few big circles with the right arm, keeping the hips facing forward. And then take the right arm back, like there's something back there that you're reaching for. And start to come into the twist. So let your hips go with this now, but keep sort of drawing the right side of the sternum towards the left. And then look towards the left, but just keep that going. Keep that reach back through the right hand. Just take one more inhale. And exhale, draw the right arm across and then in with the left. 3 breaths into the outer right shoulder. It's 1, 2, and 3. Let's separate the feet so they're quite wide. Turn the toes out again and start to come into a squat. You can give yourself a hug here, or you can take an eagle shape with the arms. And just shift left and right. Squeezing the glutes a little bit. Inhale, lift a bit. And exhale, take a seat. Inhale, lift, squeeze. And exhale, take a seat. One more time, inhale. And exhale, slide the hands to the inner thighs. You can let the head come right into the shoulders, so that taking some of that work out of the holding. A deep breath in there. Exhale to empty and drop the left shoulder, looking over the right. Inhale, center, pause. Dropping the right shoulder, exhale to the left. Inhale through center here. And exhale, come all the way up, reach the arms. And take the hands to the waist, loop the shoulders. Come forward, let's say just halfway, lift the belly up and in. And then fold the rest of the way, squeeze the elbows towards the other and just dangle here. Lots of core lift, integrity there. Just letting the neck get a little bit longer. Let's bring the fingertips to the floor now. A ways in front of you and lift up. And then as you exhale, take the right hand towards the left thigh. Just give a little tug on that. Crawl the left fingers forward and towards the right as you look underneath the left arm for 3, 2, and 1. Let's come back to center and lift. Pivot the right toes to face the side or the front of your mat and come into a low lunge there. Let's tap the back knee down and take a breath with an open heart. And then exhale, take the right hip crease back, draw the toes towards the face. Rocking lunge, inhale. And exhaling. Just getting into the back line of the leg. Coming forward on the in-breath and then exhale. Let's take 3 breaths there. You can adjust your hands. Always, if you do have blocks and like some more height, they can be underneath your hands. Let's turn the toes out, breathing in and then in, exhale. Just feel this movement is coming from your upper thigh bone. So it's not the toes so much that are moving, they're moving from that femur bone in the ball and socket. Shift back through. Let's turn the toes out a little bit now so you're in that low lunge. Take the left hand right off your mat
And start to do a wave back with the right arm. Settling a little bit into the hips there. If it is for you to bend the back knee, you do not have to grab for it. If your hand naturally reaches, mine's not right now. But otherwise, just working here to open up that front hip, left side. One more breath. Exhale, bring the hands forward, wiggle that front foot back. And press into the palms, and let's step back, downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa, forward to plank. Otherwise, you can just be with your breath. The breath is moving, doesn't really matter what the postures are. If you're coming down, the knees can tap and lower. Loop the shoulders and take any back bend. So it could be cobra, could be another sphinx. Or if you like that full back body, Shalabhasana, the legs are lifting. Palms are reaching towards the ceiling. And exhale, slide the hands back. Let's all meet in tabletop. Let's take a breath in neutral. Fingertips or fists to give a break to the wrists, and then curve it into cat. Inhale back to neutral. Let's curl the toes under again and just hover the knees. And then press it up and back into that downward dog. Let's take 5 breaths here just to reboot. Back together. Notice sound is here. Thinking is alive and well. Planning maybe something for future or worrying. Just returning to the breath and letting all of that be just events passing through, the current moving through with your breath. Let's bring the heels together again and walk the hands back towards the heels. So bend the knees a lot. You can sit down into a little squat with that flexion in the spine. And then straighten the legs any amount. Just come to the fingertips or bring the hands somewhere along the legs. And then back into that little squat. Exhale, head is heavy for this one. Inhaling. And exhale, last time. Let's parallel the feet again and fold over the legs. Arms can dangle, or you could bend your knees and slide your hands right underneath your feet. Let your toenails kiss your wrists, and you can even take a little walk on your hands if that's okay, to stretch out the wrists. Release the hands if you have them there. Take another deep breath in, and then exhale, bend the knees, and on empty, lift the pelvic floor, lift the navel, come all the way up to stand. Pause for a moment there. Reach both arms up, inhale. And then bring the right hand just to the left sternum and start to take the left arm in some circles. You can have a soft bend at the knees, so something that lets your low back stay nice and long. Doing those circles with the shoulder without having the hips really move with this. So it's all in that rotator. And if there's any injuries there, you can just make it a smaller movement, just some little waves. We're going to take it into the twists now. So use your right hand to kind of keep that sternum bone centered. As you start to twist, the hips can go now. You can look back for the left arm, pressing down a little on the heart there, and then look out over the right shoulder. Just feel that stretch along that whole right side neck, arm. Inhale, come back and wave through center. Use the right arm to hook under the left for 3 breaths into the outer left shoulder. Good, and let's step the feet apart again. Come to the eagle shape or give yourself a hug. Turn the toes out a little bit here and come back into that squat. Shifting left and right. Squeeze the glutes a little bit to keep the knees moving away from center, out over the baby toe. Squeeze to come up a little and exhale, take a seat. Inhale, squeeze, and exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, release the hands, inner thighs. Let your head take a break. Right shoulder drops and look to the left. Exhale. And keep some weight, some attention in the outer edges of the feet, center, and then switch sides. So good, just wringing it out. Back through center here. Let go of the hands, press the palms or the backs of the hands if that's a nice stretch for the wrists. And then come all the way up, breathing in. And parallel the feet again. You can clasp the hands behind the back if your shoulders will allow. And fold just halfway. Just lengthen a tabletop shape, all of the integration of the core muscles. And then take it all the way down. You can bend the knees. Find the outer edges of your feet. Take another breath there. Exhaling to release the hands in front. Come up a little bit. And then as you come back, let your left hand go to the outer right thigh. You might need to go a little closer with your feet and crawl the right fingers forward and over towards the left a bit. Wrap the left ribs under and peek underneath your right arm. One more breath into the back. Back through center, come up halfway. And then pivot the left toes and start to come around into a low lunge. Tap the back knee down as you inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, rock the lunge. Inhale, shift forward and exhale, take it back. Last one, breathing in. Exhale, draw back. Adjust so that you can stay for 2 juicy breaths here. Long from the tailbone to the crown of the head. As we shift forward left, let the left toes turn out a little bit. Take the right hand right off your mat, spin the fingers out, and start to take it into that rotation of the right ribs under. You can stay right here, or bend the back knee. Only reach for the foot or only grab the foot if it's right there for you. Mine is not. Otherwise, this is some good work in the hamstring squeezing. And exhale, come back to center. Let's press into the palms. Take our last downward dog. And taking 5 breaths here, or if you're feeling like you want another flow, then moving that through the final vinyasa. Forward to plank. Tapping knees to lower. Looping shoulders. Let's take a couple breaths in child's pose. Coming back together, body, mind, heart, community. Back where we started. If it's okay to sit back towards your heels now, when you wiggle the elbows in a little closer, you might be able to walk the arms, the elbows a little forward and let your hands just rest at the back of your head, squeezing the elbows towards the ears. Getting that stretch underneath the armpit. And then tucking the chin in towards the chest, release the arms. Sit weight back towards the heels and bring the legs forward. Lean back and just give a loose windshield wiper of the legs. Take the feet wide. Keep leaning back into the hands. And dropping the knees over towards the right. Press the right shin towards the floor. Bring the right knee up really slowly and then take the left knee. Press the left shin or just that energetic. Reaching the tailbone towards the bottom right corner of the mat. You could also be down on your forearms for this. The wrists maybe have had enough. One more time, each side. And let's bring it all the way down onto the back. Keep the knees bent to start with and let the fingers walk down towards the heels. We'll press into the feet and lift the hips and just roll up. A few rolling bridges, exhale, just getting back to some simple rhythm of breath coming down. Hips press up on the inhale, knees reach forward. Exhale to lower. No need to get to any certain height, just to feel something good for the back. One more time, breathe in. And slowly lower. Let the knees come in towards the chest and take the arms away from the body. Palms can press down and anchor, or you can be in a cactus shape. We'll take the knees over towards the right elbow. So a little extra squeeze of the knees in. If you do have pillows or anything, or you want to stick your blanket between your knees, that feels better. Just settle in the pose. We'll just take a minute on each side before we rest. Let your attention anchor back to simple sound of breath or feeling of movement or little stretch of the lungs. Everything else in the background. No rush. The train is still in the station. Just let the left knee come up and then the right knee can follow. You could reset yourself by placing the feet on the floor. Do a couple little bounces. And then hug the knees back in. And start to take them over towards the left elbow. Placing something under your shins or between your thighs if you like that. Can even be your arm. You can make a fist with your left hand and kind of squeeze that. Massage the wrist as well, looking over the right shoulder. Give your eyes a break if you can. Soft gaze or closing, draping the eyelids. Last breath in and out. Let's bring the knees back into center and just give yourself one good hug, squeeze, hands underneath the shins or thighs. You can roll the chin in towards the chest as well. Get that C curve through the upper back. And then you can come down to take a Shavasana shape with the legs extended or the knees together, or if you prefer to be in sitting meditation. And we'll take a minute here together. I'll ring the bell to get into that, and I'll ring it when we're coming out. It's the most important practice of the day to integrate for this 1 minute. In a moment, you'll hear the sound of the bell again. If you'd like to stay longer, feel free. If you're going to get back on the train, maybe you won't need as many of the bags, or maybe the bags will feel a little bit lighter. Just see, be curious. Wiggling the fingers and toes, the jaw, sticking the tongue out. If you're on your back, rolling over to one side, just a pause there. Honestly, thank yourself for carving out the solid 35 minutes out of your day for some self-care in community. Coming up to rest the hands in the lap, or you can bring the thumbs into the heart and just orient your spine to sitting again. Let the fingers point a little bit towards each other, or the palms can kind of face forward, just to also acknowledge and appreciate each other's good wishes. May we all be safe. May we all be happy. May we all be well. Namaste, yogis. Thank you. And if you're able to come on tomorrow, it'll be a different type of a class, the restorative class. We're going to do some really nice stretches for the hips and shoulders with supports, and yeah, get into those hips.